Eddie,
Hi,
hi.
hi, Nagi.
I guess it's good evening and
It
good
is good
morning
evening.
over here. So we're live around the world. The virtual reality. We've been talking about going virtual before COVID, but it's funny how when we talk about behavior intelligence and COVID really forced it upon us, right?
It forces us to adjust ourselves and
Mm,
find new habits.
yeah, yeah. It's
Definitely.
interesting. I digress. You know me. So, quick introductions. Thanks, Adi Farber from Tel Aviv, joining us today. I'm sure it's much warmer over there than it is over here. We had almost a foot of snow last week, so that's 30 centimeters almost, right? So
Wow.
it's been cold. We're into that season, but thanks for joining me. I was reflecting a little bit, and I'm going. Eddie is one of the first people to join our AccuMatch and behavior intelligence, and you and I have never done a podcast. How come?
It's true. We never met in person all these years.
Well, yeah, even that would be great. So I think
Yes,
it's
I'm a
because,
pioneer. I had the honor to be pioneer with AccuMatch.
yeah, it's great.
Definitely.
I think it's because we meet every week. You're always on our mastermind sessions every week, sharing your
Hmm.
experience and what you're doing. It's been really an amazing journey because I was just saying next month in January it'll be 7 years, right?
Wow.
Right since
We
the
haven't changed
pilot.
at all.
Yeah. So is 7 years lucky?
It should be.
Yeah.
Well, I was lucky, definitely. I don't know what about you. I was very lucky.
Look, and look, without further ado, I think, why don't you just introduce yourself, tell people a bit about yourself, what you've been doing, and then we'll get into the whole transformation and behavior intelligence and so forth. So, okay.
Definitely.
Hmm.
So, hello, everybody. It's great that you joined us. My name is Adi Farber, like Nagi said, and I'm a coach more than 12 years, and very intensive one, like session after session after session, all day long. And I'm
Hmm.
doing business coaching, I'm doing life coaching, and some days I'm out of my clinic and I'm in organization, working with teams, with CEOs and manager. And I developed my own system, which called DIB, which is different is better, and I'm sure we're going to talk about it during our time together. But
Yeah.
after like something like few years of coaching and gaining my experience with my method, I met Nagi and I experienced AccuMatch and have and studied
Yeah.
the how to work with the system and how to coach with the system, and everything like came together like a glove within a hand. So it's amazing. Like AccuMatch for me, it's helping me with my method. Different is better.
Hmm. Yeah, that's cool.
Mm-hmm.
And you've been a great ambassador for us. It's been an amazing journey to watch you in a lot of television interviews. The caliber of people that you are working with, it's just always been very, very high profile individuals, which is fantastic. So
Yes, I'm
um,
lucky to have amazing client, very interesting, very successful. So their maps are always interesting because they're
mm.
not average. They're different.
it it's funny. I just heard you say maps, and we're still struggling with a lot of people that think of assessments as personality and profile and fixed, whereas in our language, it's not that. It's a map,
It
right?
is a map.
And it changes with context and coaching, and it's the whole. neuroscience of recognizing that, the neuroplasticity of the brain, right? But I have a
Also,
question
I
for
have to
you.
say, I also love the map as a metaphor, because we're doing the assessment, of course, in the starting point.
Mm-hmm,
So we are analyzing science-based the situation, the mindset situation at the current place,
mm-hmm,
and it's also showed us which way we need to go for achieving our goals, to make our experience better. So I see it as a map, like there is the starting point, and it showed us where we need to go and which kind of changes we need to do. And of course, if we are mapping the client in the end of the program, so we actually cross the two maps and we see all the changes and all the path that he did. So it's amazing.
yeah, that's a very great way of explaining it. It's the journey. I like the word metaphor. It exposes their story today, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that story then allows them to go through the self-awareness in order for you to be able to help them on that journey of transformation back to different is better, right?
Yes. And you know
Which,
what? I have to share something with you. It's something new. It's like happened 2 days ago. Uh,
okay.
One of the CEOs that I'm working with, he sent me one of his executives. So, and it, of course, after she made the assessment, we met for like 90 minutes session of debrief. And, I showed her all this amazing behavioral intelligence that we are gaining from the map. And I explained her about the plasticity of the mind, and I explained her this is not fixed, it's not you, it's only the habit that you gain by the years. And she, like, her eyes were opened, and she was so curious and exciting, and she's like, really, I can change all of this? And I'm like, I'm working with this excitement
Yeah,
all these days, because it was so beautiful to see someone that realized that things really can be different.
yeah,
So talking about fixed and plasticity, so
yeah.
that's a big difference.
That's amazing. It's actually, I call it the real drug of coaching at the behavior intelligence level. You just get these light bulb moments happening in front of
Mm-hmm.
you. It's heartfelt, right? It's just
You're saying
amazing.
with junkie.
Yeah. We don't need to take any other drugs. This is just the perfect
It's
drug.
mind blowing, seriously. That's true.
Yeah. I was going to ask you, when you and I first connected, there was an instant connection around NLP. Do you think having that NLP background was important for you to embrace AccuMatch and behavior intelligence, or is this possible for any business coach? What would you advise people when you
I think the
when
NLP helped me now, like many other different tools in my toolcase that I'm using to coach people and to make the difference. I don't think it was necessary for the training in AccuMatch.
right?
Yeah,
Okay.
I think
Yeah.
AccuMatch
So
is great for any coach, NLPists, actually also leaders.
yeah, you've worked with so many different people, even psychiatrist, I think you had at one time. You had a
Mm-hmm.
professor another time, movie star.
That's true.
Yeah. So, the breadth and the reach of, um, and I think I'm going to use your words again, using AccuMatch to reach behavior intelligence, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's the catalyst to do that, as opposed to putting people in a box. You and I have talked a little bit about label busting and
Mm-hmm.
all of these labels that get thrown around and so forth. We just want to get away from all of that. So it's been a fantastic journey.
Yes.
Um, we talked a little bit in preparation for this about your method of creating transformational breakthrough. Do you want to talk to us a little bit about your process or your method?
Mhm.
What would you
Yes.
like to share with other coaches or leaders about that?
So again, the AB, it's different is better. And I think I came up with my method or started to develop it after like 10, 12 months of experience as a coach, because I had from the start I had very interesting clients. And it was, I remember this famous model that came to my clinic, and this very successful CEO, and all these people came to my clinic. And I realized that there is one thing in common with everybody, and it doesn't matter how successful he is or how much money he have or how he look. Everybody in his own way feels a little bit different, and that's trigger people.
Mm,
And I really related to that because I felt different
right.
always,
Yeah.
from so many reasons. From the day I was born, I had like a big gap from me and my brother, 18 years. So everybody told me this is really weird, this is different. So it's like followed me in so many circumstances in my life. So that's what made
Mm,
me to develop the system. And then I had I developed it and I had three assumptions. The first one is taking what's different in you and leverage it to a benefit, to advantage. And it includes self-acceptance and self-love. So this is one thing, and I believe that accepting who you are, it's like the
mhm.
base for any change a person want to do. It's like the basic. If you don't really accept who you are, something is resisting.
Mm,
Can't fully make we
I,
talking about transformational breakthrough.
mm,
So it's really hard to do it if you don't really accept yourself, and even not only accept yourself, love yourself, celebrate yourself.
mm,
So this is one thing, and of course
yeah.
also in business, I'm talking about being different, about stand out, not be
Yeah.
like everybody. So like my method is always going also to business, also for life, with the adjustment. So the
Mhm.
first assumption, as I said, is to leverage what's different to advantage. The second one is, if you want to be successful, if you want to achieve your goals, you have to do things different. And
Mhm.
that's, of course, we're talking about going out of your comfort zone. We're
Right.
talking about doing to be initiate and doing massive and extraordinary things to get a result, to get the thing that you want. You can't sit on your couch doing the same thing over and over again and accept to have different result. It's not mine, it's Einstein. Yeah, I don't want nobody to sue me for
Yeah.
the right, but
Mm,
exactly, you have to
mhm.
do things different if you want to receive different results. And
Yeah.
the third one was, and I realized that by myself, I can't copy paste process, because they teach you. Let's be honest, they teach you when you were getting training to be a coach. They train you like, first session do like this, and the second one until the
Mm,
five do like this, and you know. And I realized very quick it's not really working.
yeah. Yeah.
We are not robots. We are
Yeah.
not copy paste. We
Yeah.
are different. And if
Mm,
you want to take people to a journey of change, of achievement, we have to
mm,
deal with each one differently. So, I created
mm,
many tools from different training I had, and from even from other kind of places, not only coaching, like even inspiration from theater and movie, which is things that I did before I became a coach. And like every program was different, every coaching session was different.
right. Yeah.
And then
Wow.
I
Mm,
met AccuMatch, and then it came together because it wasn't assumption anymore. It was like
mm,
evidence. It was like a scientific proof
Yep.
That people are really different, and it's not about gender, it's not about men or women. It's about that each brain is unique and each mindset is different. I think we together we mapped like, you
100.
know, hundreds of maps of
Mm.
my client, and each one is different. There's no such a thing like two maps that are identical.
Yeah. Yeah. That's
So
that's so important. Yeah, look, thanks for taking us through those three steps. It's the first thing that you said that really is resonating with me is that everyone is unique. We have almost 8 billion people on the planet now, right?
mhm,
And in the AccuMatch map, when we did some of the calculations and potential number of different maps, it was in the trillions. And that's really what resonated a lot with a lot of the coaches that are doing AccuMatch is no two maps are ever going to be the same. And what you said is everyone is different, but I think there is something else underneath what you said, and that is it eliminates the judgment that we have about people, right?
mhm.
It's okay to be different. It's
More than
important to be unique, right?
yes.
So that step of really connecting with one's own identity. It's you can't. It's like you're going to go on a journey and you don't have a starting point, right?
Mhm.
The identity is creating the starting point. If you don't believe in yourself and really are anchored in your identity and belief and love and all the things you talked about, you don't have a starting point, right?
Definitely. So that's I think this is why we are separating behaviors from who we are. Like
Mm,
we are not our behaviors. The behaviors is only things that we watched during our life and we got feedback about them and we practice them unconsciously and it become our habits. But it's not who I am.
interesting.
And
Do you want to
yes,
talk a bit? Tell me a bit more about that. What makes you
yeah,
say
of
that,
course.
right?
You know, who I am,
Mm,
I can behave in any certain way that I want
hmm
or need. If I'm like in a specific professional, or if I had like have a new job in a new organization, I can adapt my behaviors. I can adapt my behaviors to my goals. This is
mm,
something that you learn, and it's okay to change your behaviors if you need to, and it's okay to accept your behaviors if they served you. But it's not
mm.
who I am. It's not my
So
identity.
is the behavior fake, or when you're acting out a different behavior in different situation? I use the word acting deliberately.
Hmm.
Are we being fake, or what are your thoughts on that?
I think it's coaching. Practicing. It's to expand your mind, not to
Mm,
approach life and dynamics and relationship always in very very narrow point of view.
right.
I'm much more than that.
Mm. So to achieve your goal doesn't change. So if we're really talking about the why, and I don't like to dive into that why, but it's the what and how, right? Your goal, your vision might change over time, and that's why a lot of, and you've probably experienced the same things. A lot of the coaches I work with, a lot of the clients I work with, sometimes they don't have a clear vision about where they want to go, right?
Hmm.
And so over time, by doing different things, the what and how, the acting, the trying different behaviors, this reinforces different beliefs. Is that what you're seeing as well?
Definitely different beliefs, different results, different experience.
Hmm. So, um, we'll always get into the conversation of, is it, like the nurture versus nature
Mm-hmm.
conversation. We get into um, the why versus the what, right? Which one comes first? Do you have to believe first, or do you have to try something first, right?
Mm-hmm.
Um, so, and we've done lots of scientific tests with people to prove this, and sometimes it's the why, your driver, and sometimes you don't know, and so you have to try something, and that's where coaching comes in, right? the,
Mm-hmm.
the different comes in. It's uncomfortable, it's foreign, you don't know, there's a risk, there's all the fear factors coming into trying something that you never even thought about doing. But practicing that is really uh, creating new beliefs, new values.
Yeah, you gain confidence, and
Hmm.
you practice, you gain confidence. So when you gain the confidence, you feel much more fluent and free to do it again and again and again. And that's how belief changed. Definitely.
Yeah.
Self belief about who I am, about relationship, about money, about business.
And that's where the map comes in, because it's it's tangible, right? They can
Mhm.
see it. It's not
Yes,
just a paragraph of text that you have to interpret, right?
it's visual. It's with exact percents of each trait where the score is, and people see it, and it's really mind blowing. We started with that to see all this information. People are always surprised, by the way. They filling the assessment online, 50 something question, and when they see the result, there is always a big gap from their expectation. Like it's
Mhm.
much more deeper and much more profound than what they expect it to be.
Yeah, I know you've shared a couple of situations where people are blown away by it. Yeah, but there've been situations where someone didn't agree, and then they go home, I think you said, and their partner says, no, no, that's you, right?
And it's not easy. I admire every client they're doing that. It's not easy to
Mm,
come 90 minutes and hear so much information about you. And I have to say, when we just started, when I had this client that they are resisting, or they're saying, this is not me, this is not how I behave, I wasn't that confident, and I'm like, maybe it was an error, maybe it wasn't accurate. But after so many years and so many maps, even when somebody sits in front of me and it doesn't see what the map show, I know it's okay.
mm,
Okay, first of all, for me as a coach,
mhm,
it's not triggered me. It's not, I'm not losing my confidence. I have my base. And also for him, also for the client, I'm saying it's okay. It's okay. You need to
mm,
think about it. You need to see it. You
yeah,
need to watch yourself live, gain awareness, ask people, ask
yeah,
the people that work with you, ask your wife. Maybe she noticed that. Maybe she experienced that.
yeah,
So
yeah. That's
yes.
that's so powerful. It's almost we talk about separating intention and behavior, and when they see the map and it doesn't match their intention, right? They don't realize that this is how your other people observe you,
Mm-hmm.
right? Because behavior, unless you stand in the mirror and you act all the behaviors out and will record yourself and do all of those things about that self-awareness, you're just going through life, I'll say blindly, thinking your intentions are great, but if your behaviors are wrong, your behaviors are the only thing that people observe you by, they judge you by that in your job, in your life, in your family, in your relationships, and all of that, right?
Yeah, I can say I love to read books. I so love books, and I'm like, when is the last time you read a book? Oh, it was years ago. I don't have time. I'm very busy. So the behavior is count. You can't say you love books if you don't make time to read them. So this
Mm,
is different between behavior and intention. And intention, you don't get result from intentions,
hmm. Yeah,
only from behaviors.
yeah, yeah. And the the way people observe you, and so that's becomes, back to the map, when the intention is not matching what they see on the map, right? That's the coaching opportunity. Would you agree with that? Is that
Yeah.
the
First of all, this is like the real self-awareness. People are misleading sometimes. They connect self-awareness with lighting up candles and holding your hands and do and they think that they are self-awareness, or they
Mm,
go into yoga class, but you know it's not self-awareness. And I see these people that sometimes are having a gap between what they
mm,
think about themselves and
yeah.
what the map show. And again, it's not always easy. So that's
Yeah.
why we coach, and your experience, we know how to deliver it, we know how to do it in a smart way, in a healthy way. But I see
Mm,
the benefits, when you're taking this gap between what you think about yourself and how you behave,
mhm.
and you match them. That's the place the transformational breakthrough happen.
Yeah. And I think there's two stages, right? There's the self-awareness about my identity, who I am, my beliefs about myself, all of that stuff. But the layer you're talking about is the how I impact others, right? That's a new level of awareness. Is saying, yeah, I might feel this way about myself, but I impact others in a different way, and that's a new level of awareness, right?
Mm-hmm. But I think it's all going both sides. Also, I found people that doesn't realize that they're criticizing themselves all the time. They are not aware to that because they used to it so much. They think that's how it should be.
Mm, yeah.
I'm like doing that for 16 years. So what's it's okay, that's how it should be. And then when they see in the map, for example, one of the traits that we are having, it's quality control, and as much as it's higher, it means that the person criticize himself or others, but now I'm talking about criticizing himself, and people not really aware to that. People don't really aware about how much they're emotional,
Mm,
because that's how they've been from 16 years old.
right. Yeah.
So this is the normal for them.
Mm,
But when you show them in the map that they are high emotional, and you start to have coaching conversation with them about what's the impact of that
yeah.
about yourself, with other people, in relationship, how you handle stress, for example, that's the point they realize,
Mm, yeah.
maybe there is a better way to deal with things.
Yeah. And it's interesting you talk about the points on the map. Whereas if I was having this conversation with someone who hasn't done AccuMatch and behavior intelligence, they would go, "Oh, this person deals with imposter syndrome," right?
Mm.
And you go, "Well, how does that show up? What behavior is that? What thinking is that?" And you picked one that, quality control is one of those things that really is often observed or self-projected as
So we're talking
imposter.
again about labels, and we're talking about like big names of big experience that it's really hard to start and walk with it. Like,
Mhm.
to get my self-esteem higher, or my self-esteem is low. Okay, what I'm going to do with it? You know, in the map, we see the exact trait, the exact neural pattern in our brain that cause the experience of low self-esteem or any other experience. So we know exactly how it's like in hospital, like a surgery.
Mm.
Like you know exactly how to approach that and to
Mhm.
be very accurate with how to coach the person.
Laser focusing your,
Let's focus.
yeah, yeah. It's almost,
More than that, like the map gives us so much information about the people, about the person. So as a coach, we can
mm,
fit ourselves
mm,
the client
yeah,
because everybody is motivated in different way and everybody is experience information in a different way. So when we know all this information, that's why I said before, like each coaching program should be different. We should fit ourselves to the
yeah.
person because we want to engage him and we
Mm,
want to bypass all the unaware resistance that he have.
mm,
It gives us like a keys.
yeah. So I'm going to explore this a little bit more with you because I think you've hit on something that we haven't really talked about it often, and that is, those labels of self-esteem, imposter syndrome, ADHD, all of these labels. I think therapists love labels, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so if you have someone that comes to you with that, and you need to really help that person, you've got to be a therapist to know what questions to ask, what to dig into, how to explore that, how to unpack it, and my best friend is a psychologist, so no offense, but we still have the automatic response of therapists is they need to put a label on it, and the label doesn't really help anybody, right? But with the map, you don't need to be a therapist, right?
I'm
You,
not a therapist.
yeah,
No,
you,
it's not about therapy. And I have to tell you, I have so many clients that came after 4, 6, 7 years with a psychologist, which is
oh,
a long period
yeah,
of
yeah.
time.
Mm-hmm.
And they all didn't experience change or like a very small change. And what I find out is that sometimes we talked about the quality control in the map or some other traits, like the therapy is reinforcing these habits because
Oh,
you used to come once a week and talk about everything that negative, for example,
oh, mm,
and everything that doesn't work,
mm,
and you talk, you talk.
mm,
So for this, I'm sure that psychology is helping many people in a specific
yeah,
area, but for a lot of people it's only do damage because they're doing things that doesn't really make the change and the shift in their mindset. The opposite, they just
mm,
reinforce it, they just make it stronger.
yeah. And this is really your laser focused strategy is let's see what needs to be different, right?
What need to be different or what need to stay the same, it's also okay. Again, it's a choice.
Mm,
I give a choice to a client. Like if
mm,
somebody come to me and he's an employee and he want to start a business, so when we see the map, again, it's the current situation, the current mindset,
yeah.
and we're talking about what does it mean to be a business owner?
Mm,
What do
yeah.
you see here that you think will help you? What do you think is advantage in your
Mm,
mindset to be
yeah.
successful in the business that you want to open? And what do you think need to be different? What do you think need to change?
Yeah. Yeah. You know,
It's a
and
choice.
taking it also to the CEOs that you work with and the teams that you work with, I think, I see still a lot of people sometimes even our map, they want to use the map to figure out if that person is suitable for a particular job by looking at their map of how they are today, but they don't consider their potential, right?
Definitely. I had this company I was coaching, and it was this woman, and she was with so many abilities. And you can see it's somebody that really can contribute to the company. She was in an office position, and something didn't work there.
Mm,
Like, she did more damage than helpful thing. But you can see the person, and you can see that they have so many qualities. So we map her, we
hmm
did the assessment, and I saw that what really stand out was the activity trait. Like, she
Okay.
need action, she need to be in movement, and they
Mm,
put her in a position that is staying near the computer on
all
the
day.
chair all day long, and
Um,
they were complaining that she's doing noise and she's always going between rooms, she doesn't do her work. And we made a change. It wasn't easy, but
mm,
we made a change, and we turned her to a sales woman
hmm
outside of the office with a car,
Right.
and she made unbelievable result. It
Mm,
was
yeah.
amazing shift, and this is one example.
Mm,
And I have this two co-CEOs. One of them realized that is very high global, and one of them realized that is going always deep, dig into the details. And it's something, it always was there, but they didn't knew how to translate it, how to give it a name. And while we understood that and we talked about it, we turned it different to advantage. Two
yeah.
CEOs, co-CEO, one have this advantage of being global, and one have this advantage be details. And with the funny thing, they're telling me even today, when we SMS or in WhatsApp, they're telling me like, I'm telling him now I need your global. We need somebody that is global right now, because we
Uh,
need to look on the
cool. That's cool.
overall,
Mm,
or when we are sitting on the finance
mm,
Excel. Now I'm taking charge because I'm the details man. So it's so fulfilling that they are speaking the
yeah.
language.
Yeah. 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 And
It's
I've
between
had similar
myself.
experiences, and it really is amazing that I think the biggest shift is also the stress, the conflict disappears, right? Because of that recognition. Is that what you experience as well?
Yes, because we're not judging anymore. We're not conflicting anymore. We are understand. We
Mm,
understand the behaviors. We understand the traits. We
mhm.
understand what's different. And we, as I said before, we grow to accept it, to like it, and to make it advantage.
Yeah. Yeah. We
So,
learn to love the differences when they complement us, right? Mm,
mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And yes, definitely what you said before, like, all this conflict and frustration. I don't understand him. I don't understand her. It's a different language.
mm,
We just need to learn them. That's all.
yeah. Yeah, and you can learn anything, and that's back to that neuroplasticity. The
Mm-hmm.
brain is not fixed. You became the way you are today because you learned all these things. So why can't you learn something else?
Of course you can. Of course you can. Sometimes it's easier. Sometimes it's more hard. Sometimes it takes more time.
Mm,
But everything is changeable, and we don't have to. Like in team, when I'm working with team, so we're not running to change things. We just accept the
mm,
diversity, and this is what beautiful.
understand. Yeah, yeah. Understand each other's, and the map lets you map people together, right?
Mm-hmm.
Which is, I believe that that's one of our uniqueness in what we do, is that ability to do that. And also, you as a coach, I think you often map yourself with your client,
Mm-hmm.
right?
I'm
Okay.
trying to do it once a year.
So you're redoing your map once a year.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So are you seeing some changes in yourself as well?
Yes, yes. Definitely. Well, I had very tough 5 years personal.
Mm,
Uh, it started with an accident that my mother had, and finally, like in the past year, she passed away. Also, my father, and I see how it affects me. I see how
mm,
it affects my mindset by the time, and doing the assessment became to me like like a sign, like where I need where I need to pay attention,
mm,
where I had like a big strength, and now because reality and the things I've been through, now it's not that trained, so it's like a muscle,
right.
and I see the new map and I know which muscle I need to work out on and get strength again. That's how I see it.
Ah, wow. That's
Hmm.
cool. And it's you took the words out of my mouth. I was going to say, as a coach, there's also the amazing thing that I've seen this with all the coaches that are doing this, right? So, we have another coach. He runs multiple businesses now, but he keeps mapping himself. He's gone through this self-discovery journey, and where I was going to take this was when you map yourself with your client, you also need to be a lot of different people
Hmm.
for those clients, right? You need to adjust your map. So you're actually able to recognize this person is high, let's say global, and I'm high detail, which is the
Hmm.
opposite. So in working with the client, what do you do in that situation?
Yes, first of all, again, I said it before, like I see the map, I know I have intelligent about my client, so I know how to approach him, and I won't approach you, Nagi, as I will approach Sandra or Michael. I adjust myself. We talked about acting before, and I came from acting in my previous career. It is a little bit like acting
Right.
because it's not about me, it's about the client and about what will help him to
Mm-hmm.
grow and to make the change that he want to make. And I'm like a tool, and I need to adjust myself to him. And AccuMatch really helped with that. I will give example just for like there is the convincer channel in the map. It's talking
Yep.
about how we convince ourselves, and there are four type of behaviors. It can be visual, it can be hearing, it can be read, and it can be doing. So, well, for example, all the clients that I have that are high read, every time I want to convince them or to engage them to do something, I always very strict. I have like my notes, very strict only to approach them by email. I write this very long email. They love it. This is their style. That's how they use to behave. That's how they accept things. And when I see the read is low, I don't write email.
Mm-hmm.
I don't. I leave like a message, a voice message in WhatsApp if it's high hearing.
Yep.
So this is just one example. We have this
Mm-hmm.
motivation, we have the word and the way. So that's why some of my clients experience me as very tough. Even I don't want to use bad words, but yeah, I get some bad words. Some people experience me like that, and some
Mm-hmm.
other client experience me like such a nice guy and warm, like friend. And it's only because I adjust myself to their
Mm-hmm.
motivation.
Yeah.
It's the
Yeah.
carrot or it's the stick.
Yeah.
I can do both.
Yeah. In our language, we call it being a chameleon for your clients. But without the map, it's guesswork, right?
Oh, so much. So
Yeah.
much. Even today, I have this conversation with the client before I meet him and before he make the assessment. And we people, let's face it,
Mm-hmm.
it doesn't matter, your title, therapist, whatever, we are people and we judge and we come to conclusion and we have our assumptions. I always wrong. Really, I always wrong. I have this conversation 15 minutes and I don't want to talk with him. He's like that, or whatever. And then I see the map and like, it's a new
Wow.
fresh start.
Mhm.
I see him differently. I understand why he behave like he behave. Like I
Yeah.
felt, why I experienced that he's rude, or why
Right.
I experienced that he's not really committed. I have all the explanation. So
Mhm.
now, as a coach, not as a D, as a coach, there is no judgment.
Yeah. That's cool. It takes me to the next level of evolution, if I can call it that, of the map and the impact. I'm going to say the impact on the world, right? So, our first wave was really educating coaches how to use this with their clients. But I think the next level is we need leaders to start acting this way. Are you starting to see that with some of your people, your CEOs, executives?
Yes, yes. First of all, we need the real leaders. We need all the prime ministers and the president. We need to map them. Let's start with that. The world will be much better. But put,
That's
put it
maybe a
aside.
few layers away.
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
But
Mm,
yes, definitely. First of all, usually, well, it's changing, but usually I start with the management.
mhm,
And so by the time I'm start to work with the employee, they know the language, they know the map, they know the coaching tool, they know everything. So now we can take it to the employee. Now we can start talking like that, not only
right.
in the session with me. We can start talking the same way with the employee,
Mhm,
and we are doing like a common language.
right. But it's more specific about the behavior, whereas there's some other tools out there that have a label like you're dominant, and that
Mhm.
becomes an excuse for that person to continue to be like that, right?
No, no, that's really make me laugh. It's like what's really insulting me that someone I will tell him something, I debrief the map, and he's like, "Oh yes, I'm a Gemini. That's why it is like that." Like an horoscope.
Yeah, yeah,
That's
yeah,
funny. Again, I give much more credit to human being. We have
mhm,
everything. We are holistic,
yeah,
and we can be. I made so many amazing changes in my life. I wasn't the same person 12 years ago. 12 years ago, yeah.
mm,
Not talking about going even earlier to my to high school. So we can change, we can adapt, we can be, we can expand our limits much more than we think.
yeah,
And yes, don't put us in label.
yeah,
And there is context, and there is
mm,
so many circumstances that affect how we
yeah.
behave and how we can behave.
Yeah, and I think I really like the example you shared earlier with the two partners, the global and the detail, right? They're not saying you're vague or you're a bull in a china shop or anything like that. They're actually talking about a specific
Today,
neural. Hmm?
before it was different. It was like, I can't understand him. He's not clear.
Right.
She's really annoying. She's going, she's talking about the same thing over and over, like interpretations. And now
Mm,
it's a joke. It's one more thing. We need to laugh. It's not that serious. We're coaching, we're doing amazing things, but we need to take life easy.
mm,
So they make it now when we have names for everything, and we
mhm.
understand where it comes from, and we understand how it can also serve us and be advantage. We can make a laugh. We can
Yeah,
joke about it.
yeah, yeah. Mm. That's cool. And
I
that's
can joke about you.
when you said that there's
You want me to make a joke about you?
we can do that in any time.
High difference.
Yes, high difference, high options, high. Oh my God, let's not go there. um, but the language that you talked about is really these words that we're just throwing around become specific behavior as opposed to guesswork. I always say to coaches, this is going to accelerate your ability to understand and work with your clients and get results. Whether you're a business coach helping them work on the business and teaching them things they should do in their business, mentoring them, or whether you're a life coach or an executive coach, really talking with the leaders and how they impact the team, it still comes down to how you approach those tasks. You need to understand yourself, right?
Definitely. So first of all, I come from a business development experience. So, I use it in my coaching and I help my client with my knowledge and my experience. But in the end, we can't really separate life coaching and business coaching because the person I am, that's how I show up at work. That's how I show up with my partner, with my employee, with my clients, with my suppliers. And in the end, that's what's count. I just talked this week with one of the CEO that I'm working with. There is always this big dilemma. What's stake? The behaviors or the results? Like there is this employee 7 years in the company is giving amazing result, but it's really hard to manage. People have always conflict with him. He take the environment down. So what's count? What's take in the end? And in my experience, in the end, it's behaviors.
Yeah.
Because anything else, you can by experience you can gain. But if you don't change your behavior and it doesn't fit to the culture, that's a real problem.
Yeah, that's the whole intelligence about the behavior, how it impacts people, how other people observe you is more important than how your intentions are, right?
And you see it a lot with like very high professional people, like that come from software engineer and stuff like that. They're really professional, they know what they're doing, but in a certain point they become managers.
Yeah.
And I need not to program a computer. I need to manage people.
It's the same thing.
I wish it was really easy. Maybe this is your next software.
Yeah. Artificial intelligence.
Yes.
We'll go there. One last point, Adi, and I just watching our time here, and that is the impact on client retention. You want to talk to us a little bit about has that affected your longevity of clients, your relationship with clients, and what's happening in that area?
Well, it's really depends if it's business coaching or life coaching. I think that life coaching, there is a certain period of time that it's reasonable. And with AccuMatch or without AccuMatch, I think it stay more or less the same. In business, I think it grow the retention. I think that people understand that it's much more deeper and it's always like an ongoing process. Like you can always be better. You can always develop yourself more. You change by things that you experience. If it was the COVID, if it's a war, if it's like personal things like I shared before. So I think people really understood the value, and it's growth the irritation. People doing the map once a year, once in a year and a half. They see the gap, they see the path that they do, they see the changes. Okay, what next? It's never like it's never like stand water. It's never, you never stand on the place. It's always make you grow and grow and grow, and there is so much places you can grow. So amazing.
I think that's a really important distinction. Yes, in life coaching, you're going to deal with something, and it's kind of the same. But in business and in executive coaching as well, in corporate world, every time you get a success, the business changes, it morphs. You need to continue to evolve. You need to learn something new. So the
Different
longevity,
challenges.
yeah, the longevity becomes real because the people need to constantly evolve to adjust how they function within the constantly growing, changing, evolving business environment,
Mhm.
whether it's corporate or small business, right?
Definitely. And we're talking about behaviors because this is our profession and this is what we do. But in the end, it translates to result. It translates to ROI if we're talking about
Mm,
business.
yeah.
So when people see the result and they see the ROI and the growing in the income, so why not continue doing that and grow more?
Mhm. Yeah. Yeah. You take a small startup business working from home, and then they grow and they open an office, then they have a team. All of
Mm-hmm.
these are different conditions that they need to learn how to change and adapt and evolve. And then, maybe they have multiple locations that's changed again. They need to adapt. So the map continuously allows them to work through these with their team, with themselves, even their family at home. And
Mm-hmm.
I've seen the impact of. You've probably seen the same, where the journey of the business owner leaves the partner behind, and you need to bring that person into the equation. Otherwise, they're going, "What have you done to my husband or my wife?" Right? Yeah.
That's true.
Mhm.
That's true.
Yeah.
And and the map, the context is work. And I can always guarantee 100% accurate everything that deal with career, business, and work. And it's always interesting to see how it also reflects in the real life, in the
Mm.
personal life,
Yeah.
in relationship,
Yeah.
being a parent.
Mm.
My experience showed that 95% it's also accurate to other places. And it's okay when it's not. Like it's okay the 5% that it's not accurate. It's fantastic. We can talk about it. We can talk about why it's different in your home and in your business. It
Mm.
gives us the opportunity to import some values and behaviors from one context to different one.
Mhm. Cool.
Yes.
Again, well, that could be another whole topic. We've almost used up an hour, and as usual, you and I can chat about this for a long time. It's been
We have this straight high talking. No, no, no.
yeah, it's such an exciting topic, and it's such a great journey that we see people go through the evolution, the light bulb moments. Um, Look, I want to thank you so much. I'm going to put on the screen here if somebody wants to reach out to Adi, Adi Farber. It's info@dib.co.il. And yeah, I'd be happy to respond to your questions. This will be live on all the platforms so we can continue the conversation. And look, we'd love to have you back. I think you and I can just have another whole conversation around the impact on people, right?
Let's
Mm.
make it an habit.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for the opportunity and thank you for this amazing system, AccuMatch. It's really outstanding.
Well, thanks, Eddie, and love seeing you in weekly sessions. And I'll see you Monday.
Yes, definitely. I'll be there.
All
Thank you,
right.
everyone.